So, what'll you do with your share of the gold we take from Governor Torres? Return to Africa, prince among men?
I cannot return to a place I've never been. I was born in Trinidad, a slave from my first breath.
Ah. But wouldn't you feel, I don't know, more welcome there?
As you might feel more welcome in Paris.
Fair point.
With this skin and this voice, where can I go in the world and feel at ease?
The year is 1715, and outlaws rule the Caribbean seas. Here, you're at the helm of an adventure unlike any other, charting your own course through a treacherous world, where events are unpredictable and outcomes uncertain. Set sail for exotic ports, from Havana to Kingston, and explore uncharted islands, each harboring their own mysteries. This is Edward Kenway, feared by the authorities and pirates alike. Kenway's hunger for infamy and riches inspires a fierce loyalty amongst his crew. A pirate, trained by assassins. He must chart his own course between chaos and freedom. The next chapter in the Assassin's Creed experience challenges you to learn, adapt, prevail, and eventually to stand amongst the legends of this unique time in history. This is a test not simply of brawn, but of ingenuity, matching your skills against seasoned adversaries on land and sea. For a brief, shining moment in history, a select breed truly lived free. Join them under the black flag of Assassin's Creed 4.
Sailed for a king. I obeyed men of privilege and wealth. Now, I bend my knee to no man. My only oath is to my crew, and together we will take back what is rightfully ours. With blood and steel, we shall stand up to the powerful. Captains will curse our flag, and kings will fear it. As long as empires generate wealth and riches, we will be there to bleed them dry.
Squad, suspect back in view. We are on him. Over.
Police, hands on your head!
Squad, talking.